Need for Speed is considered to be one of the most successful, iconic, and influential racing franchises of all time. In more than 20 years, Need for Speed managed to stay alive in the gaming industry, releasing many successful installments. And I say many because not all of them were well received. When your franchise has been around for more than 2 decades, releasing a game every single year, and each one of them is going in a different direction, it's bound to have failures. In today's episode, I'll talk about the biggest failure in the Need for Speed franchise: Need for Speed Undercover. Before we start talking about the development of the game, let's talk a bit about the developer. Black Box was a game developer that was bought by Electronic Arts in the year 2002. And after making their first Need for Speed game, Electronic Arts gave them full development control of the franchise. The Black Box developers proved their versatility with many games from different genres, but the Need for Speed franchise made them show what they were really made of. They took the franchise to new places. Underground 1 and 2 explored the tunnel culture and street racing. Most Wanted took the things that made Underground 1 and 2 special and mixed them with a more cinematic approach. And the recently released Carbon followed the exact same formula. Black Box had to take Need for Speed to an uncharted territory and do something new. But they had to do it quick, because EA wanted the franchise to have one game released each year. And 2007 was coming. The development started around the end of 2006. The team wanted the game to have a cinematic approach, just like Most Wanted and Carbon. During this period of time, many concept arts were made, to grasp an idea of what the game was going to look like and how was it going to be. The ideas were put on the table and the Black Box developer team was ready to work on the game. But they instantly realized that such ambitious game will take a long time to make, even more than a year, and it was 2007 already. Electronic Arts needed another Need for Speed game by November of that year, but knowing that Black Box will take a long time to develop Undercover, they had to make a drastic decision. Black Box was split into 3 different teams. One team will work on Need for Speed Undercover, and the other team will work on a smaller Need for Speed game, Pro Street. The remaining team will work on Skate, Black Box's new IP. The pressure put on the developers of having to work on 3 projects simultaneously on a deadline will have its consequences. Several months of development passed, and Need for Speed Pro Street was finally released. Pro Street received average reviews from critics, but most of the fans back then disliked the game, because the free roam, the tunnel culture, and the cop chases were replaced for a legal street racing, closed track festival experience. The game sold less copies than Carbon, and its reception was underwhelming. It was just a game to fill the schedule of annual releases of the franchise, but it was a really fun game and it had a lot of charm. Shortly after the release of Pro Street, many Black Box employees left the company. The remaining Black Box developers were stressed. They were working non-stop on 3 different games, released 2 of them, and only Skate was a success. EA decided to give the developer team a less strict development cycle. Now, they will keep working on Undercover, but with less pressure. At this time, the game was known as The Chase, according to a conceptual render movie showcasing a Mitsubishi chasing a Porsche. This little movie was made to guide the developers and to have a grasp of what was going to be the identity of the game. Judging by some great pieces of concept art made during development, the people at Black Box wanted to make something big, something really ambitious. The name of the project changed one last time. the title of the game was set: Undercover. I'm confident that Undercover is a much better game than Pro Street, and I expect that from this point forward, we'll do a lot better. These are words said by John Riccitiello, the CEO of EA, revealing the game. In the many forums posted that year, some people were skeptical, but most of them were hyped. The deadline was getting closer. The developers finished working on everything they could. Time went on, and November came. Need for Speed Undercover was released.
Need for Speed Undercover is not a good game. It's not even close to a good game. It had the potential to be a good game, but that's about it.
Need for Speed Undercover lacks challenge, struggles technically, and practically requires sunglasses to play.
Unfortunately, Need for Speed Undercover fails to deliver on everything it promises.
The sense of speed isn't as high compared to the predecessors, the police aren't as intimidating, and I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again.
The game got an overwhelmingly negative reception, and it was a commercial failure, selling even less copies than Pro Street. The fans and the critics disliked the cutscenes, the graphics, the handling, the cops' behavior, and the difficulty. Undercover couldn't stand a chance against other racing games released that year: Burnout Paradise, Midnight Club LA, Grid. The disappointment was so big that EA decided Black Box will stop being the main NFS developer since then. In 2011, Black Box released the last Need for Speed game, The Run. And in 2013, Black Box was shut down. To this day, most of the fandom considers Need for Speed Undercover to be the worst game in the franchise. But one thing's certain: Black Box wanted to make something great, something Need for Speed had never done before. But in the end, there was just too much pressure and not enough time. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Consider subscribing and sharing the video. If you have an opinion or want to give me some feedback, share it in the comments. Again, thank you for everything and see you next time.